It's not easy being a professional footballer. I know people think it is, and it's not easy making a debut. It's not easy playing 50 games. He's played like 900 games.
It was always captain material to me. As I said, I seen that at first hand, and he was a huge player for me. He was the catalyst for everything.
And now Peter Clarke can accept the trophy. That means Huddersfield Town are back in the Championship.
It shows everything about the man. Any player that's playing in and around 40 and have played 900 games, and every club has been out of it. Every fan would say he gave it his heart and soul for that football club. An unbelievable professional, unbelievable person, and he's a credit to his family, his friends, and everybody that's had the pleasure to know him across his career.
If you say to Peter Clarke the first thing that he'll do, go out there, is do the basics really well and come up out on top in the opponent that he's playing against. And Peter Clarke, brilliant, fantastic, has been able to do that for enough to earn him the right to play 900 games of league football and he's 40 now.
Yes, we are. We are proud of what he's done,
well,
to be honest.
That's, to be fair, that's just his job.
Yeah.
The football is his job, but he's a good lad. We're proud of the fact that he's a good lad. He treats people well and he looks after his family.
From a personal point of view, I'd never have imagined getting to that sort of number when I was a young lad. When I was a kid, it was all I ever wanted to do. And to be sat here now, having made that many appearances, there's probably a part of me that's quietly quite proud of the fact. Yeah. It's a really, really special place, a special club, lots and lots of good people here, and they deserve good times, and hopefully they will come. To make my 900th career appearance here is brilliant. Delighted it was in a blue shirt and at Boundary Park. Obviously my grounding, my schooling, however you want to put it, my time at Everton. I've said it's been on record before at Everton, and a couple of things I've done there. Whichever club it is, their academy, their centre of excellence, their primary focus, the primary aim is to give the first team players, to provide players for the first team. Everton has done that very well, I believe, over the course of time. But what they've also done is provide players with the tools and the know-how to go and have good careers, be it in the Football League or otherwise. So I think, I don't think I am eternally grateful to the ground that I had there and the people that I was around. As you mentioned before, the manager was there at the debut, the gaffer was playing that day. So I feel very lucky, very fortunate to have been around Everton for the number of years that I was, and given the help and the wherewithal to go and forge a career for myself. Again, feel very fortunate. I'm proud of the fact that I've gone on representing my country at the various age levels from under 15 all the way through to under 21.
I'll go back to 2002. I'd just gone to Everton. It was my first pre-season trip to Austria, and Moisey said it's going to be 4 hard days of running, and I was buzzing because I was such a good runner. I used to love running in the front group and that, So we get to Austria, and we take a young lad, Peter Clarke, with us, like a young lad. Anyway, we're doing these long runs up the mountainside, and I'm running in the top group and really loving it and that. I noticed that Clarke is like beyond the back of the back group. He's only 19 years of age. So that next night, Moisey goes to me, he goes, Baz, he goes, I'm a bit worried about Clarke. Like, he seems miles off the pace and that. Like, you know, I think you need to run at the back with him to make sure he's okay. So he spoiled my first trip. I had to run at the back, babysitting him. When we got back to Goodison, we took loads of tests on him to make sure he's okay, and he was okay. But the point of that is, if you'd have said to me then, can you estimate how many games this player will play? I would say, well, the way he ran in pre-season in Austria in 2002, I would say none. And every time I see him, I've seen him so many times at different clubs over the years. I saw him, I did a brief spell at Salford last year, we played Tranmere, and it's still the same old stuff. We still talk about those days in Austria where he was so far at the back.
I can remember when he first started playing as a child, and at that age, you're the team transport, the team laundry person, the team jambutti maker, and etc. And as he grew and he eventually was picked up by Everton and went into their academy, I used to say, well, don't know about you, to Mike, but obviously when he gets a bit older and maybe gets a girlfriend and says, you don't need to come now, Mum. But it never happened. You know, I'll back off, but it never happened, which is wonderful, because we enjoy football anyway. And it's been great, because
he's always wanted us, hasn't he?
We often have, well, because you've coached, we often have, or you and Peter often have, discussion about the game on the way home and things like that, and he still enjoys.
Signed at Huddersfield. The manager there made me his captain immediately. The prime aim was to get promoted. We had a couple of tough rides, a couple of near misses, lost in a playoff final. I was gutted, to say the least. Cried on the pitch, and was hard to take. But at the same time, it gave me a motivation to not feel like that again, and to do everything we possibly could to make sure that wasn't the case. 12 months on, yeah, there were some more tears, but tears of a different type that time.
Up comes the captain, Peter Clarke. Can he put Huddersfield on the score sheet? Yes, he can. Mr. Reliable breathes new life into Huddersfield's promotion dream.
And I think, I think from my point of view, as a young boy, and I'm sure there are lots of boys and girls out there now who will probably have dreams of playing in cup finals, captaining teams, going up the steps at Wembley and lifting trophies. My dream was always the FA Cup final. That's where I was when I was playing on the streets or in the yard or at the school or wherever. So to have captained the team at Wembley, to have won promotion there or won a final at Wembley, it's again something that I'm quite proud of and look back with a great deal of fondness.
When I first got to Huddersfield, we played Southend, and Peter stood out like a sore thumb basically for Southend as a leader, as a very good centre back, great leadership qualities, and he was a player that I earmarked from the start that was going to be a very important signing for the club if it wanted to achieve its ambitions, which it eventually did. Whether he'd been captain at Southend, which he had been, it wouldn't have made a difference to me. He was always captain material to me. As I said, I seen that at first hand, and he was a huge player for me. He was the catalyst for everything. When you're a manager and you appoint a captain, you're basically appointing an extension of yourself, hopefully. And Peter epitomised what I was about. He had honesty, integrity, humility. He just demanded hard work from his fellow players. He wouldn't let the standards drop. So he was brilliant for me in that aspect. He pushed the group every single day, both the standards we wanted, both on and off the pitch and around the training ground, and when we went and stayed in hotels for away games, how we approached things. And you know, in the tough times, he was a great leader also, you know, out on the pitch, because once they're out there, people always say once you're over the white line that it's up to the players, and Peter was brilliant at you know, assessing the situation and dealing with it accordingly.
The year before, they'd played Peterborough in the final at Old Trafford, and that was quite heartbreaking. So we went to Wembley, and it went to penalties, and that was well, I couldn't watch. I couldn't watch it. It went to the wire, even down to the goalkeepers taking penalties. And eventually they came through, so it was brilliant, really.
Yeah.
We were just really pleased for him because of the disappointment the season before.
The evergreen Peter Clarke just savours the moment. A day maybe he thought would never come.
It went right to the end, didn't it?
Yeah.
Before we got there, but they did. Yeah.
Great strike at Crewe, even if I say so myself. Probably haven't hit one like that before and never will again, but no, it was all right. The goal at Chesterfield, as you say, we were in a sticky situation, ourselves and Chesterfield at the time. We ended up with a man less for the whole of the second half. We had our backs to the wall, and we weathered the storm. We were resolute. We were good without the ball, and we felt we may get an opportunity. Fortunately enough, the corner was defended. It goes out, recycled, and it comes back in again. Unfortunately, I was just able to time the run and get the jump on their defenders, and as it goes in, wonderful feeling. As you celebrate, there's bodies everywhere, there's fans on the pitch, and again to celebrate with the fans was fantastic. The equalising goal here against Rochdale, which guaranteed our safety with a game to play, was brilliant, and there'd been a lot of hard work had gone into the whole season, but certainly the Christmas onwards period, we'd given ourselves a really great opportunity. So to get the equaliser in a game of that sort as well was brilliant, and knowing full well when the final whistle blew that we were secure in our league status in the division.
Well, Fulham, crikey, yeah. That was a game and a half, wasn't it, really?
And if he's going to listen to this, I remember he didn't train all week in that game, and he pulled his calf, and he actually played at Fulham with a pulled calf. But on the Saturday night in the hotel, I asked him how he was, and he said, well, if you want the truth, don't ask me. So I just left it at that, and look at the performance he put in the day after.
We'd gone down the night before, prepared properly. Pete was obviously in caretaker charge at the time, and we knew it was going to be a really tough ask against a good Premier League team. And we started the game well, nothing in it. Felt a little bit hard done by to be behind, but showed fantastic character. got ourselves back into things, and then to go and win the game as we did, it was fantastic. And you know, you talk about emotions, and again, I think there were perhaps a couple of little tears there that day, and just looking up at the away support and the support that we got, the noise that they were making, was fantastic, and to enjoy the moment with them was amazing.
You look at the actual clip at the end of the game, and me and Peter stood there, and I don't know who was gonna cry first. There's a really good clip of us both at the end there that I think we're both close to tears, and I think that just shows you whatever club he's at and whatever shirt he puts on, he gives it 110%, and I know that's why the fans here love him so much.
So anybody that wants to learn anything about the values or the qualities that you need to play football at any level, then you just have to look at Peter Clarke, and that's the greatest accolade I can pay him. And on top of that, he's a really, really good fella, a really good guy, and I am delighted that he's been able to do that. That is some achievement.
Here, and I'm not just saying that, it's welcoming. I can't put it any better than that.
It's a family club, and it's we feel very much at home.
Yeah.
And so does Peter. In fact, he would probably have never left had he had the choice. But
we won't go down that road.
No. He loves it here, and he loved it at Blackpool.
Yeah,
and I think they were the two clubs that he was most happy
Even
at.
though the promotion bit was at Huddersfield, which he enjoyed the club, I think the two clubs we've mentioned stand out really. Yeah.
To have been a part of the really tough times, and I think there was probably times when I wasn't here that it was probably worse, but to have been a part of it, to know what it was like, to understand it, no group of supporters should ever have to go through the trials and tribulations that they were put through. As not as footballers, but as people and as professional individuals, it was an incredibly tough working environment, and those that were here throughout that deserve a huge amount of credit for the way they've handled themselves and the dignity that they've shown. To now be back and to be part of, as you mentioned, almost a rebirth of the club and a new era almost. It's brilliant, because I think the league position doesn't represent where we should be. I don't think it will be a case that we will be in that position for long. I think performances are improving and are of a good level, and I'm sure results will come. And from a personal point of view, I want to be part of that. I want to give the fans again something to shout about and something to enjoy, because it's been a really traumatic period, a really trying period for anyone involved with Oldham Athletic Football Club. The people at the helm are people that care about the club, people that are passionate about the club, the people that have the best interests of the club at heart, which, as a football fan, I think it's what every football fan wants, that the people that are running their club, because players, managers, staff, owners, boards of directors, they will all come and go. The football club is always the supporters in essence, to my way of thinking. So the fact that the people at the helm now care deeply is amazing, and I think as supporters now, they know that the club is in good hands. The things that are going on behind the scenes, the foundations that are being laid, they are for, there's obviously a short-term essence to things, but also a medium long-term view on things to make sure that this club goes from strength to strength, and I just hope that happens, and it happens quickly for everyone involved.